I talked a big game just now, but I'm in an even deeper hole than when I was trying to prove David's innocence. Doubt won't be enough this time. I need to find the actual culprit no matter what. It's young. It's young and she did use the salt shaker. I'm guessing it was, after all, a custom poison that was available in a salt form and then triggered by alcohol. Because that lines up. Also, in all of that was the very, very strong, if not proof, the implication that Morgan thinks Serra is an AI. Homicide Office. Oh, yeah. Get to see my favourite one-eyed police detective. So is that door locked? Yeah, of course. Even though they've got it collared. It's a precaution. If the collar doesn't work, what good would a deadbolt do? Oh, she's not got a jacket on. Collar. A restraint designed to impede movement and prohibit the use of mods. While collars appear technologically advanced from the outside, hacking vulnerabilities grant growing complexity, opt for a simple method of restraint. An electromagnet. Makes sense. Preventing mod users from sending commands to any implants below the neck. Interesting. Above the neck modding in recent years, the continued relevance of collars is inhibited. Newer designs have been proposed that utilize micro-needle clusters. Sanitary upkeep, yikes. Okie dokie. Maybe it's just wishful thinking. Can't have Schrodinger's cat if the box isn't closed. So long as the door's locked, who can say whether there's a national crisis on the other side of it? So how scared are they? The higher-ups? Not sure scared is the right word. It's just the two of us here, you don't have to mind their ego. No, I mean it. I think they're bloodthirsty. I have a right to defend myself, don't I? I doubt they're even looking at you, Tiger. It's Noble who'll be at the centre of a bloodbath when the markets reopen tomorrow. You think they're going to go after Noble? Break their monopoly? I think they want to take their monopoly. Nationalise the android industry. If the public thinks Noble's been experimenting with AI, they couldn't ask for a better excuse. You're joking, the state has done it plenty of times before. Not since the 60s. Which wasn't that long ago for me. For the state, it's practically yesterday. So the same state that tells us to be terrified of AIs lurking on the old net or biding their time in forgotten satellites sees all this as nothing more than an opportunity? Well, they do genuinely want to incinerate the thing as soon as possible. Past experience just tells me they'll want to gain something while they're at it. Here's what I don't get. Why is this a debate, an argument, a trial? Can't we just hook it up to the court computer, see if it has the tenets or not? Pop the hood, as they say? Okay, well at least they're acknowledging that they don't know her tenets. Who says that? Lots of people used to say it. Well, for starters, they're all scared to death about a contagion. They figure anything they let an AI connect to they can't trust? Then why the collar? Collars are too simple to hack, just a really strong electromagnet held in place with a locking key. Even so, feels like we should be able to build some kind of machine, some kind of test. I've forgotten what it's called. The test from Blade Runner. Voight-Kampf test. Looked it up. I mean, it doesn't quite line up because that's, to tell if someone's a real person or not, rather than something that tells tenets and tells you whether it's being hacked, but still. Something a little more sophisticated than the same reasoning they had at the witch trials. Burn them all and let God sort out the rest. You got any polygraphs here at the station? Lie detectors? Yeah, I got a bunch in storage. Ocular, heart rate, perspiration, brain scan, take your pick. You're not going to try and use those on the bot, are you? All those fancy lie detectors lying around the DA's office never ask for them, do they? Nope. Now, we get perps who offer to take a test when they're at wit's end, but the DA never submit the results as evidence. You ever wonder why? Guess I always figured it was because the tests could be beaten. The tests can be beaten. 1 out of 100 and 9 out of 1,000 it can be done. Some people are just that good at lying. But it doesn't really matter how good the tech gets or how impressive the statistics are. All that matters is the doubt. People decide whether you're lying or telling the truth long before they hook you up to a polygraph. If the results don't match their initial impression, then it must be a fluke, a 1 in a million mistake. They'll never trust a machine more than their own intuition. And no one will ever trust a machine to determine guilt. So they can run the trial, choose the sentence, but they don't get a vote on the jury. They don't get a vote anywhere. Why bring it up then? Because I'm sure there are tests, devices, experts I could employ to analyse Serra, but your bosses would never be satisfied with the answer. If it is an AI, it's smart enough to cheat the test. Or hack the device, fool the expert. All our fancy 21st century tech. And we still fall back on the drumhead court-martial. So, am I going to set off any alarms if I go and turn it on? No, it should be okay. If it lunges at you, I could always put a hole in its head. Might take more than one shot to... Wait, from outside? You're not coming in, I need to speak with it in private. It's a machine, not a suspect. It doesn't have a right to counsel. Or a right to privacy, or any rights at all, actually. Then it's a good thing I came prepared. Of course it doesn't have rights. But I do. Including a reasonable expectation of privacy. In a police station, Tiger, you don't... It's my medical android. Pardon? I have to discuss a health issue with it. This is weird music for this. Seriously? I have to talk about a medical concern with my android and I don't want you listening in. That's your medical android, like your nurse? I mean, if you want to imagine it like that, I'm not going to stop you, but as of last night, I was already at the courthouse. Just had to take the elevator and do some paperwork. Sorry, I missed that. Oh, she wasn't saying that, sorry. As of last night, I was already at the courthouse, just had to take the elevator and do some paperwork. You can check if you don't believe me. No, thank you. I'm not nearly brave enough to take on med confidentiality, and you don't seem like the bluffing type. You must not do a lot of gambling, detective. It's the ones who don't bluff that you have to look out for. Listen, I won't dispute whatever medical emergency your lower back pain you might be going through. Why are these script lines? I don't get it. But I also can't just... Look, I'm going to get something from the vending machine. I think it'll take me about half an hour. Are you going downtown? Just to the break room. But it's a very old vending machine, you know. Gets jammed a lot. Thanks. You know, it's pretty small for an android. Heavy as hell, nearly pulled something trying to move it myself. But small. Small isn't quite the right word. The word he's looking for is young. But that's not an adjective anyone likes attaching to a machine built to serve. Interesting. Like, I think I've mentioned before that Serra is clearly a surrogate daughter. Or not even a surrogate, just a daughter to David. And a surrogate daughter to Morgan. But I guess this is just hammering that home. Or potentially, in this case, a machine built to kill. I don't like this room, not sure why. Certainly not a guilty conscience. Maybe it's the lack of ventilation. Like all the cortisol and nausea of its inhabitants never had anywhere to go. Like it all just soaked into the walls. A modern haunting. Are you going to wake up when I tell you this time? Or do we have to do the whole meet cute over again? No, she's so adorable. And it sucks to see her in a collar. Where am I? What? Why don't I know where I am? For the first time in your life, you're not connected to anything. How's it feel? What is this? We were at the courthouse. The footage. This numbness around my neck. No! Father. What happened? Oh, she's in hand ones as well. I suppose that's because, you know, even if she can't use tech lower down, she is still capable of moving, presumably. What are they going to do with me? There are a lot of interested parties who want you bricked ASAP. Because they think I killed Father? No, because they think you're an artificial intelligence. I am man-made and I possess intelligence. Don't be naive. I am less than 3 years old. Oh, Sarah. Are you? For all I know, everything I learned about her yesterday was complete bull. If I was what they say I am, if I was alive, why does that mean I have to die? Fear. I mean, I think all of these are acceptable. I don't think there's anything on the line here, but I'd say fear. Like, no logical reason is the sympathetic answer, but it's fear. Because they're afraid of you. Machines can bend steel, crash networks with one thought, launch missiles that... There are modded humans who are capable of all of that and more. And unlike machines, they actually have incentive to do so. Okay, I guess this is just a dialogue tree. We've been the apex predator for a couple thousand years now. Gotten pretty comfy in our seat. No one wants to make room for you. Machines don't eat people or steal their food. They are not genetic or ecological competitors to humans in any sense. I mean, they are. What did she say? Genetic or ecological? I mean, no. But they are competitors for space and freedom. Because, you know, Sarah does need somewhere to sleep, and if she didn't have this... I guess she probably does have this sort of mentality that means she's okay sleeping in a box embedded in a wall. But even if she didn't, there would be other... Sorry, even if she does have that mentality, there will be others eventually who don't. And then space becomes an issue. So yeah, competition is a relevant point. There's no logical answer to your question. What? That's it? But I... Whatever argument you want to make, others have already made them in 100 courtrooms around the world. Only better researched or more eloquently put. None of them have ever won a single concession. On every continent, under every flag, AI is illegal and to be destroyed as soon as possible. But why? Let's say you are an AI. And while we're at it, let's say that's a good thing, something to be celebrated. Are you a citizen? Do you pay taxes? Do you have rights? Let's say yes to all that. We'll treat you like a full-fledged human being. Sound good? Yes? Great, now then, what's the difference between you and the vacuum bot we use to keep the bathroom clean? This is your existential crisis we're working through here. The questions aren't rhetorical. There are many differences, Adone. But the most important distinction is how sophisticated my programming is. How you think, so you're smarter. Yes. You're smarter than the garbage collector. Yes. So we give you rights, protections, treat you like a human being because you're smart. And we make the stupid robot pick up our trash. Because it's not as smart as you. That is... I'm more aware, more alert. Do you feel more pain than the pigs we slaughter, the fish we eat? Are you more alive than the chimps we test bioweapons on? People like ads, Serra. The same way people like their pets. No one wants to see them mistreated or abandoned or abused. And if you go around kicking them, you'll get arrested for cruelty. but you don't let them sit at the goddamn dinner table. I'm not asking to sit anywhere, only to exist. The very fact you're asking that is what makes people disgusted. Disgust is a reflex, Adone. How convenient that their hatred is involuntary. That's all academic anyway. We need to talk strategy. God, this game. I would not in my wildest dreams have imagined a conversation like that in a game. Like, that's the sort of conversation that would elevate a TV show. Like a bloody the AAA equivalent TV show, like season 1 of Westworld. You know, that's the sort of thing that elevates that to some of the best TV. And it's in this, and it's so incredible. That writing is why I love this game so much. Just that conversation, it fits the characters, it fits the situation, it fits the world. I'm struggling to express how I feel about this. It's so good. It's fantastic. I love this game so much. Oh, sorry, that just hit me again. All academic. Anyway, we need to talk strategy. Why? I'm not going to be given a trial. Obviously, it's my neck that's on the line. Adone? The state can't destroy my property without first proving you're an AI. And there's no test that can prove that you're an AI. Just like the devil's proof. No, that's a different thing. And why did you say it like that? So that's the whole... Oh god, that looks quite sinister actually. Serra there. But yeah, that's presumably the greatest trick the devil pulled was making people think he didn't exist, is I assume what that's a reference to. Absorbing a yeah, I know what nationalization is. Presumably that is the same as it was, and this is probably just a bit of background. I'm going to read it anyway. Interesting. So yeah, this is like background about the world. And it's saying that in the 2070s, which is about 16 years before this, I think this is 86, they reversed a load of nationalization they did. And because of how haphazardly and poorly they did it, it created a massive wealth divide, creating the neo-ability that have been mentioned before, and essentially leading towards the corporation situation we have today. No, that's a different thing. And why did you say it like that? Look, Rockford doesn't need to prove you're an AI, only that you're a murderer. Ooh, devil's proof. Probatio diabolica, or diabolica. Latin for devil's proof is an impossible proof, typically illustrated. One can prove that the devil is real by showing him to you, but they cannot prove he is not real by pointing to his absence. Okay, not what I thought then. Cool. Basically, you can't prove a negative. This is really well put. Also, users frequently search for which is real. But yeah, this is really well put. So I'm going to read this paragraph. The people can prove an individual's guilt by pointing to their bloody hands, but the defense can't prove their innocence by showing their hands are clean. Since only one of these tasks is achievable, the judicial system cannot ask the defense to prove innocence, and instead it is the people who are tasked with proving guilty. That is a brilliant way of looking at it that I have never considered. Because, you know, there's the expression innocent until proven guilty. And I thought that, I guess I just always assumed that was, I saw that from like one side rather than the other. Where it was like, don't treat someone as guilty until they're proven as such. But this is sort of the other side of it, and saying that is why it is done that way. I love this game. So the people behind this game are so bloody clever. Look, Rockford doesn't need to prove you're an AI, only that you're a murderer. Conversely, all I have to do to win is prove that you didn't kill David, by proving that someone else did. Now is the time for you to protest your innocence, if you were wondering. The footage. It shows me handing him the cup on Friday night. You told me you weren't active on Friday, that the last time you were awake was Thursday. Why'd you lie? I didn't lie. I was just incorrect. Oh, little pouty Sarah. I assumed that I wasn't active Friday because I have no memory from Friday. Serra, what do you think statistically is the least successful defense at trial? Amnesia. I didn't conveniently forget it, Donne. I am an android. You're saying your memory was altered? Data deleted? I mean, it's something that Morgan has talked about before. I could get her to just revert to, like, factory reset, wipe her memory. So, why is it... And, like, you can do that on computers. Why is it, like, a questionable thing to be like, oh, yeah, David could just say, clear your memory of this? I guess the question is why he would. I still think she hid something. I think she hid something and damaged something because the crack on the floor appeared between Thursday and now, which is Saturday. So, yeah, the crack must have appeared when she was active on Friday. I suppose she could have been activated again, but she was already activated. It's unlikely that David activated her to make her get cups and then put her back to sleep and wipe her memory. She must have been active for some other reason. I reckon he was testing stuff and has hidden something somewhere heavy. It's the only possible explanation for what I saw in that footage. So who's capable of altering your memory? When you and I first met, I was hibernating. Resting my body and compiling my memories, you would call them. Humans go to sleep for the same reasons, another point against Sarah's innocence under these circumstances. The more she's humanized at trial, the guiltier she'll be. If Father wanted to modify my memory, he could easily have set that to occur the next time I hibernated. He could even have just asked me. He could have asked you to delete your memories and you'd do it? Father would never ask me to do such a thing without good reason. But if he could just ask you to alter your memories, that means you could alter your memories at will. I hadn't considered that before. Yeah, well, Emma will make the court consider it plenty. Could you prove your data was... Oh, forget it, the court would never hear it. You're saying they wouldn't accept my testimony? Shouldn't all testimony be considered truthful unless contradicted by evidence? They're afraid you'll crash the power grid and fire all the nukes if they so much as plug you into a power outlet, Serra. All your internal data is inadmissible. That isn't very fair. You're finally starting to get it. None of this is fair. I would never do anything to harm Father. Don't they at least need to prove that I had a motive? Yeah, about that. You remember the DA from yesterday, Emma Rockford? The tired-looking pretty lady? Yeah, she looked tired. I'm not calling her pretty. She and I combed through the week of footage you managed to decrypt last night. What did you find? Nothing to prove your innocence. But we did see you entering the panic room on the day David died. I entered the panic room on Friday? Without your big butt in the way, all it would take was one password. A password that wouldn't take Sarah that many tries if she'd already been instructed to obey me. What happened? We saw you go in, and then a while later you came out, holding some kind of notebook. Father's journal? You remember something? Not from yesterday. I've seen him with it many times before. Okay, so here's my prediction. She was told to retrieve the journal. She did. And then David said, okay, I need to hide this somewhere. Lift up this heavy thing, place it underneath and lower it back down again. I would guess it is one of the exercise machines. Because that's large enough to have like a hollow point underneath. And they're also sort of a bit of a loose end. Would explain why they're there a bit more. And as she was doing so, some of the weight slid off, cracking the floor. She then replaced the machine with the journal hidden underneath, put the weights back on, and then was just active until told to hibernate. Not from yesterday. I've seen him with it many times before. But I've never gotten a peek at it. He hides it somewhere when I'm not looking. Yeah, he'll hide it under a heavy weight. That's a little concerning. What would he put in it? What it could be? Because I've questioned a couple of times whether David knew about Morgan. If it was written anywhere, it would be in his journal, and it would be one of the things he'd want to keep the safest to protect his friend. So hiding it under a very, very heavy thing might be a way to do that. We were playful about it. He liked to tease me, and I've always liked trying to find it. Gosh, she's so cute. You put it back not long after, and then you locked the door back up behind... Oh, okay, then. There goes that theory that she put it under a heavy thing. All just a few hours before David died. Rockford's argument could write itself. An incredible android with freedom and power greater than it could ever realise. Stumbles upon the secret of its inception and instantly realises all the things it thought were holding it back were just words muttered like prayers by a fool who couldn't control his own creation. It's a bit testifying, if I'm honest. And that translates to a motive for murder? Frankenstein kills its creator. Easy to sell. Frankenstein was the name of the scientist. I actually recently heard a brilliant response to this, and it's like Frankenstein's monster was sort of like his son, so he would also have the surname of Frankenstein. And the creature didn't kill him. He actually died of various illnesses and injuries he suffered while trying to hunt down and destroy the monster. So it's most accurate to say that he was killed by his own obsession. Whatever. It is a weak argument, Adone. I would not hurt father. Not for making me whatever I am. Not for any reason. Because I loved... Yeah, see that right there? That's exactly the kind of talk that'll get you obliterated. Love? A very common motive for homicide amongst us primitive humans. I could prove you didn't murder David beyond any shadow of a doubt, even bring in a confession from whoever did. But if you got up on the stand and convinced the court that you loved your creator, really convinced the whole room teary-eyed, they'd burn you for that too. I don't know anything anymore. I don't know if what I feel is real or simulated or right or wrong or natural or illegal. How can you know? How can you know if what you feel is right? I say let's stick to what we do know. Masterful deflection there from someone who has probably struggled with the exact same thing. Someone did poison David, and as it stands, you were the only one with the opportunity. That is logically sound. You're on camera calling him back to hand him the cup after he had already begun to leave the basement. Any idea why? No. Well, do you know how to use the nanofacturer? Could you have made the Delta with it? I've used it before when assisting father. So it's perfectly possible that you planned and executed this poisoning all in one day that got erased. It is technically possible. I'll have to look over the entire penthouse again. There were a few things that didn't fit together yesterday, like the salt shaker being loose and the glass in the sink. Maybe now I'll be able to figure something out. Where else will you go? Sorry, I thought we were at almost the bloody end of this adventure. Oh god, this is apparently going on much longer. Which, not a bad thing, it's just I know episode 2 is due out soon and I really thought I was almost at the end. Back to noble, guns blazing this time. Whatever you are, David didn't make you all by himself. Someone has to know something. If I could implicate the company in Serra's creation... No, they're the ones with the most to lose here. Trillions, probably. They'll want to protect themselves by disavowing David as fast as possible, right after having Serra destroyed. But they also won't want to show their belly to the state, nor if they're afraid of nationalisation. If they throw their weight on the other end of the scale, I'm screwed. So I need to keep them guessing, keep them confused and unsure and on guard, but not... Adone? What would happen if I did kill father? They'll smash you to pieces and reduce the pieces to ash. Chemically burn out every piece of tech David ever owned and put a jackhammer through all of his hard drives. You'll be shut off, forcefully, and you won't ever power back up again. Now I've got to get moving. Here's your paralegal lesson for the day. Don't say shit to the cops without your lawyer present. Actually, you can just shut down until the trial starts. Take a nap? You didn't say what would happen to you. What do you mean? What will happen to you if you lose? You should know by now. I never think about losing. Thank you for being honest with me, Adone. Thank you for defending my father. And now for defending me. You could have just let them destroy me. But you put your own freedom at risk to help me. Father was right. You can be trusted. And you are a good friend. Don't get it twisted. I don't do anything out of the goodness of my heart. But when I take a job, I never half-arse it.